I call Alec Rowley. 6 minutes, please.
Presiding Officer, thank you. As the Cabinet Secretary and many others have said in this debate, following the final episode of the recent documentary series Blue Planet, the spotlight has been placed on the scale of destruction being caused by the excessive use of plastics right across the world. All of us who watched the programme could not help but be shocked by scenes showing the tragic impact this waste is having on marine life. And although the problem caused by plastic pollution have been known about for some time, public mood and the desire to change things for the better mean that there is now an energy across all ages and groups and all sectors of society which will help drive the change we need, a point that was well made by Graham Day, Claudia Beamish, Kenneth Gibson and others. Indeed, today in this Parliament there has been many good speeches highlighting what has been done across Scotland and what needs to be done. As Tom Arthur and other contributions mentioned, the report prepared by the Ellen MacArthur Foundation for the recent World Economic Forum at Davos, which incredibly stated that by 2050 the amount of plastic in the ocean will outweigh fish. Just incredible that the human race would do this. As Pope Francis said, what kind of world do we want to leave to those who come after us? He went on to say, may the relationships between man and nature not be driven by greed to manipulate and exploit, but may the divine harmony between beings and creation be conserved in the logic of respect and care. Friends of the Earth Scotland strike a similar note when they say the increase in single-use plastics has coincided with the development of a damaging mindset to take, make, dispose and a culture of hyper-consumerism. As others have said here today, plastic has been around for a long time, but it now dominates our lives in clothing, cooking, engineering and product design. The rate at which we are producing plastic has accelerated, and a report in Science magazine in July 2017 estimated that 8.3 billion tonnes of plastic has been produced to date. Of this, some 80%, 6.3 billion tonnes of plastic, is now waste within society. Speaker after speaker have said today and made the point that we cannot continue like this. We cannot simply ignore this issue. We will all have to take responsibility and do something. It is clear that the problem on such a scale and complexity will not lend itself to a quick fix. We will need global cooperation and indeed global action to achieve the lasting change that we desire. But there is also action that can be taken much closer to home by individuals, communities, local authorities and governments. And so I am pleased today that today's motion from the Scottish Government recognises the need to take action on a number of fronts, and to see Labour's amendment which recognises that public involvement, volunteer action and a rethink on how we as a country use resources all have a part to play. Individual behaviours will play a big part in reducing the impact of single-use plastics. There are currently around 480 billion plastic bottles sold across the globe every year. That is 20,000 per second. So anything that we can do to reduce that figure will make a difference. Simple but effective action like the introduction of the refill scheme, where shops and offices can permit the public to come in and refill their water bottles, will have an effect. I know some MSPs have signed up to this already. But we also need to find ways to provide drinking water in public areas. Following, for example, the example set by London's Mayor Sadiq Khan, a step back to drinking fountains that used to be found in many towns, villages and parks. Indeed, a report from Seas at Risk points out that Copenhagen in Denmark has recently installed 60 drinking fountains across the city. Just one of many examples that they give of local leadership taking action. As Kate Forbes highlighted the example of Ullapool, the first village in the UK to ban plastic straws, a campaign driven by local school children. And in Fife, my home county, the Chief Executive of the Council told me this morning they are in the process of working a plan to ban plastic straws. The Scottish Government's charge for plastic bags is working a treat. I also welcome the great work done by local communities like Kinghorn, as mentioned by Mark Ruskell, Carnock and other voluntary organisations in the clean-ups. We must recognise the challenge facing local authorities as they seek to manage their waste as well. The public can, to a degree, choose whether to use items such as plastic bottles, plastic straws, wet wipes, cotton buds and plastic cutlery. And with the right support, we can choose and use alternatives. But as individuals, we have less choice over materials used in everyday consumer goods like supermarket, fruit and vegetable, disposable nappies and, yes, even tea bags. The plastic contained in each of these can take hundreds of years to biodegrade.
You must come to a close, please, Mr.
So therefore, in conclusion, Presiding Officer, as I run out of time, let us ensure that this new energy to tackle plastics is not just a reaction, but the start of sustainable action.